Hey, good morning, everybody. It's Boomy here with my dad, Bitcoin Zeke, and I'm excited to bring this video to you today. It has been a while, weeks, maybe even, I don't know, a couple months since we came to you with one of the topics that we love to talk about. Daddy, there are two topics that you love to talk about, and what is the one that we're going to talk about today?
Today, we're going to talk about Bitcoin, the cryptocurrency space.
Absolutely, guys. So here with Bitcoin Zeke, you can call me Bitcoin Boomy if you like. That's my Cash App. And we are going to talk a little bit about Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, what's going on with the market. We love these conversations. As you know, back in May, our family had a Bitcoin retreat where we took the kids and the grandkids to Orlando, and we said, this is something that is so important to our family, to wealth building. You've got to learn about the cryptocurrency space, why you need to be involved, what it means with the ups, the downs, the spikes, the highs, the lows, the fluctuations. Is it real? Is it not? It's something we felt was so valuable that we had to definitely make sure that the generations start understanding. And so, my dad, my mom have always been the type of people, what they want for themselves, they want for other people. They've always been making an impact, and I'm that same way. And so when we come and we share these videos about cryptocurrency with you, is just sharing from our heart. No business to sign up in. It's just because we want you to get an understanding. We want you to stay in the know. We want to share what it is that we do and what we're excited about. Before we get into Bitcoin, just so you know, and there's somebody saying, thanks, Mr. Z. I can't see that name. Type your name so we know who it is that's watching. Just so you know, the favorite subject of my dad is health, right? That's where I also get my wellness love. My father instilled that in. So we got health and we got Bitcoin going on, two of his favorite topics. Okay, so daddy, well, people who have been watching cryptocurrency understand that the numbers that they were seeing as far as values for potential cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano, I mean, there's so many thousands out there. The numbers have gone down. And people are wondering, like, what does that mean? Is cryptocurrency going away? Is it like people say, oh, I told you so? That thing wasn't real. You shouldn't invest in that. I mean, I think it's important for us to give people a perspective of the cryptocurrency space. And like, what do you think? Is it still a great space to be in?
Okay, Boomer, let me give the people a little background on what's happening in the market, in this space, and what has happened. Bitcoin is approximately 12 years old. And if you take a long term perspective, you would have done very well. And if you continue that perspective, you probably do very well. For example, Bitcoin has averaged 200% over the last 12 years. That's 200% compounded annually.
Wow.
Now, show me a horse that's faster in the race that has done that. It's not stocks, it's not bonds, it's not real estate, it's not gold, it's not silver, it's Bitcoin.
Mhm.
So that's the past leading up to the future. Now, last year, October, November, December, I mean, Bitcoin just took off like a rocket. I mean, it went from roughly 10,000 and about this time last year, and by Christmas, New Year's, it was up 400%. It was up to over 20,000, and then it went to 30,000, and then it went to 40,000. Uh, and by April, it had gone all the way up to
Yes.
64,700. Guys, what goes up must come down. And so over the last, 5 months, it had calmed down. And that's a good thing. Whenever the market is going down, Bitcoin Zeke is buying.
But let me play devil's advocate. You're saying it's a good thing, but in April we were promoting to people, you got to learn about cryptocurrency. You definitely want to buy now. We weren't giving financial advice, but we were saying you want to be in this space. Hey, it's not like it's too high. Go ahead and buy. So let's say, for example, I was one of those who bought at 65, and because I buy on a regular, I'm sure I did purchase some around that as well. And now, but let's say I was new to the market. I purchased at 65, and now I see today it is 29 something. It would dip under 30. Like, what should I be feeling? Because you know what most people would be feeling, like, oh my God, I thought I was gonna make some money with this Bitcoin thing, and I put $100 in. Now my $100 is whatever, $20.
Okay, what I would say to that person, uh, let's get some more education
Mm,
because that is what you need. Um, Anyone, in my opinion, they ask me, well, what should I do? I'll tell them first, get yourself educated.
mm-hmm.
If you don't get yourself educated, yeah, you liable to lose some money because if you buy high and you sell low, you're supposed to lose money. You can't do anything else but lose money.
Good
So
point,
you
guys. Wait a minute, I gotta say, first rule, right? You never want to buy high and sell low. Was always what? Buy low and sell higher. So there's
it,
a learning lesson in this, because some people are doing what you just said. They bought high and then they're like, oh, I need to get out. I'm losing my money. And then they sold low. What's the insanity in that?
well, I mean, that's really insane thing to do. But first of all, let's go back to the very first rule.
Okay.
Do not invest more money than you can afford to lose.
Okay.
I mean, that way you are good because you're going in knowing what the deal is. There's no investment out there that is impossible to lose money in. So you can lose on anything that you invest in. That's the idea of investing. You
Mm-hmm.
invest with the hope of gaining, but
Mm-hmm.
it's a two-way street. So now you have to have a goal, a strategy in terms of giving yourself a better chance of gaining as opposed to losing. Uh, Over my career, investing in stocks, mutual funds, things I used to do decades ago, the strategy was long term
Mm-hmm.
because if I'm here, well, why am I investing? If I'm investing today $100 and I want to make a 50% gain tomorrow, um, I don't know how to do that. You need to be a trader. And the chances are, if you're a trader, it goes both ways as well. You can make money, but you can lose money even faster.
Mm-hmm.
But if you take a common sense approach and have a goal, well, why am I here? I'm here to accumulate some wealth. I'm here to accumulate money for my retirement, over the next 5, 10, 15 years. I'm here for I got a 3-year old for a college education. Now you know your time frame in terms of, well, when do I want and need this profit? So if you invest $100 a day, or if you invest $100 when the market was 64,000, now it's 30,000, that is not a problem because your goal is not today or not next week. Your goal is 5, 10, 15 years from now.
Mm-hmm.
And then you never know what the future is, but we can look back at history. The Bitcoin market has continually grown at 200% year after year for the last since its inception about 12 years ago. So you have a much better chance of knowing that, okay, I'm going to be in profit when I need the money.
Mm-hmm.
So long-term perspective, you're pretty good. Now, those of you who invested when the market was 64,000, I probably did too because I do dollar cost averaging. That is, you know, that's I bought it then, but I'm still buying it now. Now I'm getting more. I'm getting more coins because the prices. I'm getting twice as much. The price is half as cheap. So if you do that on a long-term perspective, it's very, very hard for you not to come out ahead in the long run.
So there are a couple of things that you said that's really exciting. So if I had bought in the high 60s, now I'd be thinking, oh my goodness, I'm at a better place now. Let me take some of my cash flow. Let me free up some capital from somewhere. Let me get money from my business and buy in an even better position. Because before I was getting, if I was buying a piece of a Bitcoin, I got a smaller piece if I had, let's say if I had $500. I would be buying my Bitcoin, but I get a smaller fraction when it's at 65 than if I bought Bitcoin now at 30, I would be getting a larger percentage of a Bitcoin. Is that correct?
That is absolutely correct, Boomy. And those of us that's like on a budget, we don't have thousands of dollars to put in. I highly recommend dollar cost averaging. That is a strategy has been successful almost in any kind of investing because you are investing, for example, $100 per month, month after month, the same time, the same amount every month, and over time you come out ahead because when the price is high, you're buying less. When the price is low, you acquire a lot more. But then it says dollar cost averaging. On average, you will end up, but your cost will be at a better uh, amount as opposed to just putting all your money in at one time. So you don't, and the other thing, you don't have to worry about the market. You don't have to try to time the market. Uh, we don't know anybody who has been successfully been able to time the market in the long term. So when you do dollar cost averaging, it automatically works out to your advantage. So I'm recommending if people going to invest dollar cost averaging, which is a good way. Now, in addition to that, let's say you've been dollar cost averaging and you started when the market was 60,000. Okay, that's fine because remember you long term, 5, 10, 15 years. So you're buying at that rate. But now, say the market dipped 50%. That's a substantial amount uh, from when it was uh, 60,000. So you might go ahead and what we call add on the dip or buy on the dip because a 50% drawback could give you a good benefit or a good profit relative to buying it at 60,000. So buying on the dip is also a good strategy, but that's something that you do from time to time. But dollar cost averaging, you do that all the time.
And dollar cost averaging is something that we have been promoting. When you heard us say, if you're with Coinbase, if you're with Binance.us, whoever is your wherever your I guess wallet is, then what you would do is you would get on recurring, right? You would get on a recurring purchase. It could be once a month, it could be once a week, it could be bi-weekly. On most platforms, you get to choose. And so it's just smart to do that way. You don't have to think about it. I remember years ago when you were selling, I was a teenager, you were selling mutual funds. That's what you did. People just, automatically every month were pay on to their into their mutual fund, set it and forget it. And then you look years later and it's like, wow, I've amassed all this money. Because if we had to leave it up to ourselves to remember, oh, let me take money and go buy this week, it typically doesn't get done like it would if you're on an automatic recurring purchase. So like I don't even have to think. Like I know myself, y'all, I'm telling you, I wouldn't have the crypto that I have right now if I had to go in and buy every week. But I just see my Bank of America notifications and I almost had forgotten I was on. I'm like, oh, Okay, I got more Cardano. Oh, I just bought more Ethereum. I have more Bitcoin. So this whole time I'm accumulating every single week, not even paying attention to it. I don't even really care what my portfolio is saying right now because it's not about right now of why I'm doing it. So if you want like right now money, maybe you want to learn about being a trader and get into that day trading. I'm not in for that emotionalism and learning all of that. I'm a hodler. If you saw us having our shirts on where we said our family hodls Bitcoin, that HODL, hold on for dear life. If it dips, we're holding. If it spikes, we're holding. And some of the traders that I know, they even say, Daddy, and they affirm that the safest thing to do is to have a long term hodling perspective. Traders normally get wrecked. Hodlers normally come out on top.
Absolutely. So, in addition to that, if if you need money now, the ideal thing is get a job. The job will pay you some money now, or get a business,
Yes.
or and work more in your business. See, that's a business. I often refer to Robert Kiyosaki quadrant. Employee. That's the top left. Then you become self-employed. Then that's on the bottom left. Then you progress to become a business owner. That's on the top right. See, your business, you're earning money. You earning money, or you got some folks helping you to earn money. But then ultimately, you want to be at the bottom right as a investor. See, and this is where we are with this. So we have worked through that quadrant. Now we are at the investment stage where we got our money working for us.
Yes.
And so when you have your money working for you, usually you're into a long-term strategy. And this, boom, I can't overemphasize. If people develop that long-term strategy, their chances of losing money is minimized. I mean, greatly minimized. So, uh, and looking at the Bitcoin life cycle over the last 12 years, if you had a, a 4-year strategy, for example, Boomy, if you have invested in Bitcoin anytime over the last 12 years and you've left your money in there over 4 years, you would not have lost any money. Guys, that is big. That's huge. That's gigantic. Think about that. You're investing, and in any 4-year period of time, you would be in profit.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I mean, there's very few, I think, investment that you can say that that's been happening. And understand, Bitcoin is still in its infancy, guys. It is so young, so new. I mean, if you invest at 65,000, guys, that's early. I mean, you're still early because some of the projections that the smart money is saying that, I mean, over the next 3 years, let's just say 3 years, they're talking about Bitcoin going to two and three and $400,000 per coin, you know, per coin. I mean, what? That's not even. I don't know how many X is that, but it's not a lot in terms of getting to that point. But you taking a long term perspective, you're going to do well. Boom, I would say, and I've seen this before, people who bought it at 65,000, they're going to say, they're going to look back on the year two and say, wow, I wish I had bought more at 65,000 because, you know, uh, when Bitcoin was 20,000, and I said, I wish I had bought more because now it's X. So you can't time the market, but you can to get a strategy, a sensible long-term strategy, and follow the market as it goes up. If you believe that this Bitcoin, the cryptocurrency, is a new technology, it's a new innovation. This is something like I like to uh, draw a parallel with technology. We all know Microsoft. I remember very well when you were in high school, Microsoft was like $4, and it was volatile. It would go up and down, and people wasn't sure about it. And they didn't buy it when it was $4. Just a few people. But had you bought it then and you kept it, look where you would be at today. And Apple, I remember Apple was $3. Just $3. Apple, what is $1,000 today? I mean, that's technology, and they were in their infancy. So what I'm trying to point out is that Bitcoin is still in its infancy. So where will it be 20 years from now? You know, how many millions of dollars will it be worth? So we just can't look at it. Well, okay, today you have to look at it in its totality from the beginning. I mean, we just in the very early stages. Is the point I want to make. So if we're in the very early stages, it's a good time to to invest in Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. Uh, that's the way I see it, Boomy.
Yes, well, and I think that's a great perspective. We had somebody said, I remember Apple stock being up and down. Apple ain't quite 1,000, but I know what you're saying. It's a long way from where it was when people first started hearing about it. So I love what you said about get the education, guys, and all thy getting, get understanding. Don't be one of those who say, "Oh man, I heard about that. I heard them talking about that Bitcoin. Just didn't know what it was." Well, learn what it is. I mean, you can go to YouTube and type in what is Bitcoin, what is cryptocurrency, and start learning for free about this space and start putting your little toe in, get some understanding, start small before you go bigger. But also, I love what my father said, however you earn money, whether it's from a job or a business, what you want to do is to take your capital, however you earn it. A business is one of the best ways to have more capital to earn, because with a job your money is limited how much you make. With a business you can make more and more and more. So get your capital from wherever, hopefully a business, and you understand that, and then fund your I quadrant, fund your investment with your capital. So you need to have that extra discretionary income to be able to take advantage of the opportunities that we're saying. Guys, listen, we always talk about the wealth gap between us and them. There are people who we say some people leave wills and others leave bills. Most times it's in our communities that we're leaving bills. We're not leaving that generational wealth. Here is a time, a chance now where you can change your family tree. This is a great investment, we believe, so that you can collapse time frames and do something special for your family, wealth building wise. And this is even something, if I want to expand your thinking a little bit, what about over time acquiring a Bitcoin to never ever sell, but to pass on from children to grandchildren to great grandchildren to great great grandchildren? That's really leaving a legacy. Wouldn't something like that be special, Daddy?
Oh, that would be very special. See, Bitcoin is in the early stages. It's going to be so many opportunities how to grow your wealth using cryptocurrency. Like you just mentioned, boom, you get Bitcoins and you just save it and you don't ever sell it. And I had somebody say, "Well, what good is it? How do I get money out?" You don't have to sell it. You can literally borrow against your Bitcoin, because if you sell it, it's gone. If it goes up in profit, it goes up. You miss that profit. It goes up in price, you miss that profit. But you can actually sell. You can sell it. Yeah, I would never sell mine, but you can actually borrow against it. And then there's other ways. How much money, how much interest you make at the bank? I mean, as low as 1/10 of 1%.
Right.
I mean, you can stake your cryptocurrencies and safely make 5%, some paying 10, 12 more percent, but and you still keep the possession of your crypto. I mean, this is the early stage. The crypto is really going to be challenging the banking industry going forward. Bitcoin, they had a big convention in Florida in June. A lot of new information came out. Uh, the country of El Salvador uh, passed a law that made Bitcoin legal tender.
Mm,
Guys, that is huge. You're going to see other countries following suit because they understand where the future is headed. And it's headed where uh, it is simply a better form of money. We all know that what's happening to our dollar is depreciating, is losing value. The Federal Reserve is printing money like it's no tomorrow. There's anytime, uh, somebody's just literally giving money away, you got to think about, how valuable is that. But Bitcoin is the best form of money. It's being used. It's global, all around the world. Uh, uh, Insurance companies are acquiring it. Uh, Hedge funds are acquiring it. You're gonna find other banks gonna start to acquire it. You know, uh, all many different kinds of institutions. They're saying, well, look, I'm not real sure about this Bitcoin, but I think I need to take at least a small position.
mm-hmm.
And as they take a small position, Bitcoin goes up and up and up. Now, for example, if the stock market, all the people in the stock market total capitalization is like $150 trillion. And if they just took 1% of that, you know, 1% of that, that would drive Bitcoin up to over 250 $250,000 per coin. So you say, well, how's Bitcoin going to grow? It's going to grow because more and more institutions, mom and papa are coming in. They're coming in more and more. Everybody want a better form of money. The dollar is as good as it is, but we want to have some insurance. We want to have something that's might be actually in the long run more stable that don't incur the inflation that the dollar is incurring. I don't know if you guys are seeing this, but over the last year, I'm seeing more inflation. And then when I came back from Panama after going 3 years, I saw the difference in inflation from the time I left to the time I got back. It was mind blowing. And so you got to have some kind of currency, some kind of money that will hold its value and won't cost you in terms of you losing money as it goes up in inflation. So, guys, Bitcoin is the safest, soundest money out there. This is why people all over the globe are acquiring it. And just remember, guys, you're still in the early stages of it. So have a goal, a long-term goal, and at least whatever you can afford, start to dollar cost averaging, and in that process, educate yourself. And over in the coming years and decades, you will do very well.
Yes, absolutely. Well, guys, we're going to get ready to end this video in about the next 7 to 8 minutes, but I want you to hold on because there's still a couple more things we want to talk about. First, I want to address the Facebook social media world. This is what goes on when it's concerning Bitcoin. Like, as cryptocurrency, when it's on the upswing, you see a lot more people talking about it just because the excitement and the thrill of the increase in the profits and all of that. But do not think that um that is like the best time to get in. It's a time to get in, but what I want you to understand is just get educated. Just don't buy into the hype, because now, let's say there's a little lull, people aren't talking about it as much because they're not seeing those exact profits. Now is a really good time to get in, right? because you see that it was higher, now it's lower, so it's better to buy lower than higher. So like, even though there's not a lot of as much talk about it as it was some months ago, now is a great time for you to get in. Don't wait till you start hearing people talking about, ooh, it's up to this, it's up to that. Understand it. Get in at a time where you start getting some understanding, right? Now would be a great time. And then one more thing I want to say, I lost my train of thought. But anyway, understand what my father was saying. When you're comparing, when you're thinking like 200% of what Bitcoin has done, and your bank account's not even paying one, guys. Let's just kind of get some perspective there. This may be a place that you want to, invest in. Again, we're saying we're not financial advisors. You got to do what feels good and comfortable for you and your family, but we're just giving that perspective. Want to wake up some minds and some eyes to what's going on, because we really don't want you to miss it. I want you to say, I'm glad I did, rather than I wish I had. Now, Daddy, as we're starting to end, like, people have asked me, oh, well, what are some of the cryptocurrencies you're in? What are they doing now? So what are some of the main, like we talk about Ethereum, Bitcoin, and Cardano? Like, the last time you looked, where did they sit at as far as value per coin?
Well, I follow about 15 cryptocurrencies, mostly the top 20. Um, but Bitcoin is the number one, and of course Ethereum is number two. Uh, Cardano, which is called ADA, that's in the number three, or within the top five. And from year to date means from the when this year started till today, to this date, year to date, Bitcoin has is still up 11% for the year.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, is your bank account up 11%?
Probably negative.
Ethereum is up 200% year to date, and Cardano is up over 600% year to date. Now, guys, understand this is after the market has did a retracement of 50%, of 50%. So you're still in the black. Yeah, this market is really, this is a good market to be in,
Mm-hmm.
especially when you educate yourself and have a long-term perspective. So those are some of the ones, but I'm long. See, I don't worry when the market goes down. If it goes down a lot, I do worry because I want to see how much money I got to buy some more. But I'm big on dollar cost averaging, but I'm also big on buying on the dip. But man, let me add one other thing. Uh, I want to really encourage. I've been studying this market since 2017, and I got a idea of where it's going in the long term as it relative to the technology, because the technology is always changing and innovation is always coming, and uh, and change is always coming. Change is always constant. We know that. Now, if Bitcoin is becoming the currency, a form of money, is becoming the technology that's going to be the future, and I follow some of the experts, the big money people, the smart money people, and they're saying that uh, change is going to happen pretty fast because technology happen pretty fast. Uh, Within this crypto space, it's going to be two groups.
Mm.
It's going to be the winners and the losers. It's going to be those that's going to have a lot of money,
Mm-hmm.
and it's going to be those that are going to have very little money. And my perspective, Bitcoin Zeke's perspective, I say this is a opportunity, Boomy, for us, our people, to do some catching up.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you can develop a strategy and you can find a vehicle that your money is growing 100%. I mean, Bitcoin has grown 200%. I mean, you can do some catching up. You can do some catching up. But if you don't catch up, you're gonna be left way, way behind. And uh, I recommend this book uh, called Big. What's the name of it? Boom,
Bit,
I'm doing a blank. I can't hear you.
oh, Bitcoin in Black America.
Yes, Bitcoin and Black
Uh,
America by a brother out of Raleigh, I mean Charlotte, North Carolina. Uh, Isaiah Jackson is his name. I read that book, and I recommend people read that book because it gives a perspective on Bitcoin and Black America. But you know, he's saying, guys, we got a chance. This is something that comes along just maybe once in a generation or so, where if you got a long term perspective of 10, 20, 30 years, and you can get a vehicle that growing at similar rates. I
mhm.
mean, people get wealthy growing at a 10% compound interest rate. The stock market over the last 100 years have only averaged 9%, you know, and people have gotten rich on through the stock market. But if something comes along where, you know, the rates have been, you know, triple digits, then it gives you a chance to catch up. You know, we're not talking about catching up in a year, but we're talking about catching up in a generation. A
Mhm.
generation is a short period of time to catch up because we've been here like 20 generations and we haven't caught up yet, you
Wow.
know. So if you can just catch up in one generation, I mean, that's a godsend.
Mhm.
So I mean, that I'm just kind of sharing from my knowledge and from my heart what can happen because you know you can't do this overnight, but you can do it over one generation, without a doubt. Back to you, Boomy.
Well, that's powerful because um I think it was from T. Harv Eker. I forget who I learned this from, but wealthy people think generationally. Like poor people think day to day. Middle class, they think more like month to month, and then people start thinking year to year. But like the real wealthy people, they're thinking what they can accomplish for their next generation. That's what they're thinking about, perpetuating their wealth. So, were you about to say something else?
No, I'm running out of charge.
Oh, okay, you're gonna be good. We about to end, but I love those conversations, and we have the Juice Lady Lloyd saying, "Hey, I love this." We got Al Peters confirming the title of the book for everybody: Bitcoin and Black America. We got Aunt Carolyn watching, and other people who are joining us, guys. Do yourself and your people and your audience a favor. Share this video so more people can hear about the the space of cryptocurrency, and they can start at least educating themselves. We are reachable, we are approachable. My number is 980 888 2000 980 888 2000. No business for you to sign up in, nothing like that. We're just giving information. If you want to have a conversation, if you want to say, okay, these people real, let me touch and feel them, let me see, go ahead and give us a call. We love connecting with people and developing relationships. So share this video with some others. Dawn says, thank you for always dropping knowledge. Dawn, I had you in mind because I know that you bought when things were higher than they are now. So I was thinking even about you. I'm like, I hope Dawn sees that now is a great buying opportunity and that she is doing more. So if you haven't, girl, do it, do it. And Al says, so if someone bought at 60 but now buys at 30, that will average your buy at 45. So look at the math that Al was doing. Basically, you're bringing down the cost of the average cost of what you bought it at by averaging it out. You buying at 60, then you buying at 30, then so your average cost goes lower. So that's smart. And Dawn says you know it. Okay. Well, thank you, Daddy, so much for joining us today, giving this knowledge to the people. Guys, remember, it's not just that knowledge is power, is the application of the knowledge that is power. And as my tagline says at the header, remember that you are more powerful than you know. So go here, create a great day, and we'll be back to you with some more videos and some more knowledge shortly. Thanks, Daddy. Bye bye.
Okay. Bye bye.